Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. Y'all already know what's up. We're here in Atlanta. I'm chopping it up with my sister. Yo, sis, I want to thank you for being on my show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to get started.
Whoop. Today we have a very important conversation. This touched my heart a lot. I will talk about it in depth in a little. And I just think that it's amazing what you're doing, and I want to tell everybody about it. I can't shut up about it. So, without wasting any more time, can you please let our readers, our listeners, and our viewers know who you are and where you are from?
Yeah, that's what's up. My name's Janae Anderson. I am a children's author, actually Amazon's best-selling author of a children's book called I Love My Curls. The book is a little over a year old, and basically it was my love letter to little girls to love and embrace their naturally curly hair. I am residing right now in Philadelphia, so I'm a Philly Joan, as we say. That's where I stay. That's where I live. So, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, most def. Can you please tell us more about this amazing book? Like, I don't want to go over that without giving you a round of applause.
Thank you, sis. Yeah. Basically the book is about a little girl who is just so enamored with her natural hair. She talks about all of her natural hairstyles, two-strand twists, cornrows with beads, bantu knots, all the wonderful styles that I personally have done on myself and my daughters. But there's also a resource guide. And for me, my book was a little bit out of the box because to me, falling in love with your natural hair, appreciating who you are, your God-given self, your uniqueness is all about an education, because we have this impossible standard of beauty that, all women face, but specifically girls of color, we got to navigate that a little bit differently, you know what I mean? Because we don't fit into that standard of beauty, And so I created a resource guide to sort of broach the conversation, because I believe when they get into like middle school and high school, it's too late. They already trying to get in with their crew. They don't want to hear it. They want the straight hair. They want, all the fly stuff. So I said, the best way for me to probably get this message across and affirm our young ones is when they're the tiny ones, pre-K, preschool. Get it in with them then, And so that is what this book is all about. And it's spoken from my voice, as a Black woman in my experiences, being a mother and watching my daughters go through some of the same things I went through. And I just needed to do something to kind of help parents figure this thing out. And we gotta be real with ourselves too. We gotta check ourselves, because I've done the weaves, I've done the hair extensions, I've done the relaxers, I've done it all. But at the end of the day, I'm a true believer, and with maturity and growth, I've learned that, children become what they live. How can I be telling them to embrace themselves and their natural hair, and I'm not, because, and that's kind of what happened, my daughters are really spaced apart. So I have like a 5-year-old that's going to be turning 6 on Friday, and I got a senior at Howard University. So there's a big gap. And the difference between the two is, with my daughter, my oldest daughter, it was more of maybe elementary school when she got a little bit older, where I began to get a little bit more into this natural hair thing. So she didn't always have it from birth. Now this 5-year-old about to be 6, let me tell you, she's a hot mess. She will let you know in a minute. Like, I love my curls. I love everything about me. And it's so amazing just at that young of an age that she's so self-aware, and she has such a positive identity. But I think a lot of that has to do that she has never seen anyone do anything to alter, outside of wearing makeup and things like that, but their natural hair. And that's all she knows. And so it gives her a different sense of pride. And I think it's much easier for her to embrace it. So, and that's, it's exactly why I wrote the book. And a lot of the feedback, that is the thing that resonates the most with the readers and the parents, because I'm like, I'm just a mom who wrote a book. But I mean, I have people, sisters coming to me, dads coming to me, grandparents coming to me, and they're like, I remember when. And I'm like, wow. So it's, we think it's just hair, but it's deep. It goes much deeper. And, it really does affect your self esteem, because the way we look builds up our confidence. And if we don't feel confident in the way we look, then we just feel like we suck. We're busted. And, so I wanted to create this book to kind of help people along that journey.
Yeah. And we appreciate it. So just for everybody listening and viewing and also reading, the book is called I Love My Curls. Go to Amazon, go to my sister's website, buy the book. So like you were mentioning, sis, this goes back to childhood. Like, we need that positive affirmation, the positive drive to love oneself at a young age. Because when we get a little older, we're like, we ain't trying to hear that. So,
Right.
yeah, and taking care of your natural hair is actually a self-love journey, because you have to accept what type of hair you have, and then learn how to maintain it so you can love yourself. I was talking to my homeboy Michael. He owns Netter Gold, and he was like, people that don't take care of themselves, like his thing is ash. So you walk out with ash, you just don't love yourself. So
Mhm.
applying to curls or just hair in general, if you don't take care of your hair, you just don't love yourself.
There
So,
you go.
your book is motivating our youth and everyone else, because, the younger babies, they need the parents or aunties or grandmas or whoever to read to them, just help
Right.
everybody all around to understand you got to appreciate who you are. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear highlights or different colors.
Right.
I've been there, done that, purple, blue, green, you,
Yep.
right? But what, 3 years now, I'm all natural, and the most I can do to is cut it. And that's it.
Right. Exactly.
I love my hair and I know what to do to take care of it. And you walk with a sense of pride knowing
There
this
you go.
is the crown. It's your crown.
Exactly.
Take care of it. Take
Yep. Exactly. And that's what I tell people, because when I talk about natural hair, like I'm like, we always joke because people are like, oh, you one of them shea butter people. No, I'm not one of them shea butter people. I'm just about loving who you are. Do what you do. Preference is your preference. I'm not here to judge. Like I said, I ain't gonna front. I've done it all, but it's been a process. I haven't always come to this point. Like my hair is locked. That was a journey. It didn't start out this way. I found out, that wearing locks for me in my type of curl pattern is something I probably should have done if I'd known better from the start, but I didn't. But with growth and learning and appreciating my hair and feeling comfortable and not worrying about that outside validation or trying to live up to this dumb, standard of beauty, I probably would have done it a long time ago. But it was a journey, and this is preference for me. Some people can't do it because they're like, hey, I got to change up my hair. But I'm like, you know what? Used to think that too. There's a lot of stuff you can do with locks too. You can cut your locks. You can take them off and reattach them. I mean, it's all types of stuff that before I went on this lock journey, that I did not even know. So it's about a constant education. We walk, 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 talk, but we don't always know all the facts. Get the facts, and it's a whole, it opens up a whole new world. And I think when you accept yourself, like you said, it's learning how your hair behaves, it's learning how to love it, even if you want to cover it up, or even if you want to cut it, or even if you want to bump it out straight. But just know that you appreciate, the natural stuff. And that's all I'm saying, that we're not doing it for I hate to say it this way, but in Philly, we say like capping. Capping means like, look, you being real fake about yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're doing it to sort of keep up what you see on social media. You're trying to keep up with what you see with the celebrities and everybody else is doing. But how you really feeling though when you got to take that wig off? Like you can't live life without it, and that means that you're a little bit imprisoned. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna wear the wig, then wear the wig with pride. If you're gonna, straighten your hair, then be good with that. It's that thing that happens when those things are available to you, and that's what we need to really dig deep when we're doing these things. And I just hate when people do things but they don't know why they're doing them. It just makes no sense to me. So
Yep. And that's how it needs to be. We need to love ourselves. And
yeah,
then you know, in the bigger picture, once we love ourselves and we know what's working with us and for us, we know what we're not going to accept, what we're going to accept, who we are, we're self-confident. And also it pours into how we treat others.
Others.
We're not going to treat somebody shitty, excusez-moi,
Hey,
if we're treating ourselves the utmost respect and utmost glam, you know?
it does. It does. Because I find that like sometimes having conversations, people will feel like, oh, well, you know, my hair is not natural. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not judging you. I have patience. You're not your journey is not the same as mine or the next person's. That is okay. But we can still have a conversation. You know what I mean? I'm not judging you. Do you? But what? You have any questions for me? Let's turn this into. Don't start off like that, thinking that I'm judging you, because that counteracts what I'm doing here. Because there was a time where I probably would have been a little bit impatient and not understanding why it's hard for someone to just go natural, because it's so much trauma like behind this whole hair thing is it's so layered. It goes into racism, colorism. There's a whole history, especially with black hair. I mean, 'cause, black hair is, I mean, it could go from the loosest curl and wave to the tightest coily. Yeah, and it's just that history that it's become, it's made us not love our hair, and it's a very divisive conversation, and it can get heated. So, but at the end of the day, for me, once again, it's just the appreciation. You can do whatever you want to do to your hair, but it's just the appreciation of what's under there, and realizing some of the things that we do to alter our hair has a much bigger part in this standard beauty that we're just born into, and we don't, we just sometimes don't know better, and sometimes we almost feel coerced to conform, especially when you're an adult and at work or at school. It's this, oh, if you got too many curls or waves, or you got to pull it back, you got to cut your hair, you got to do this, as long as it's neat and kept. It's, well, okay, if I wear my curls free, are you telling me that my hair is unkempt? We got like whole damn laws now. So to tell people you can't discriminate against people with natural hair. And my background is in HR, so I mean, I've heard some stories, I've seen some things that's just ridiculous, but that's how the world is. And we got to do better, and the only way that you can do better is by opening yourself up to hearing and learning, and practicing, like we do. And it's so much easier to embrace yourself. It's a liberation. I feel liberated. I dare somebody say something to me. I do. I dare you, because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna let you know that's your problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's beautiful, that you have that positive vision on natural hair. And even if you don't have natural hair, haven't chose that path for you, or don't even decide that that's for you, you respect it. We all respect it. As you can tell, I have straight hair, but I don't knock it if you're trying to curl your hair and you got
Right.
straight hair. It's a personal preference. But what
Exactly.
I love is that your book does tailor to helping young ones, everyone, but specifically young ones. So at a young age, they're very positive, they're very assertive of themselves, and they have that confidence to walk around
Yeah.
the crown and knowing that they're everything in this universe.
Okay. Yes.
All about, and this book is so powerful. So it makes me want to know, like, do you have more books coming out? Is this the only one? Are you redoing it? Are you coming out with more?
Yeah, I do have two books that are coming out. I'm in the final editing process of the resource guide, because as I mentioned before, the resource guide to me, that's what it was. It was very educational. A lot of people took those tips and tricks, and they had seen much healthier hair growth. They learned. I have a lot of multiracial families reach out where they're raising children that they can't share a comb with. It's just what it is. And they're like, oh my gosh, like these tips are so good. And they really are helping me with the basics of learning my child's hair. So that's what it was all about. So I decided to expand on that. Not so with this next book that should be dropping probably April, before May, hopefully. because you know how edits can go when you write a book. But it's a little bit about my experience as a mom, you know, raising daughters, how I came to, you know, kind of write the book and giving more tips, being a little bit more expansive about natural hair. I'm going to be talking about beards and, you know, talking about, you know, natural hair, different products, because one of the things that happens a lot when you know you're entering into this natural hair journey is learning how your hair behaves and what products to use. And with YouTube University, listen, I love it. I can watch it all day every day, but unfortunately sometimes we'll look at someone and be like, oh, his hair looks like mine or her hair looks like mine, and then you go to use the products and your hair is looking nothing like that person on there. So it's very important to understand what's growing out of your hair. And that's what this book is going to be, you know, a way to kind of expand and learn a little bit more about different types of hair textures too. I'm not just talking about the, you know, the very tightly curled, you know, hair. I'm talking about, you know, mixed race hair, beards, as I said. And then also, I've had a lot of dads, a lot of men come to me and say, could you write a book similar to the I Love My Curls book, but for boys? So that's what I've been working on for a while. I want it to be legit relatable because I'm not, you know, I'm not a man, you know, so I want to know what those experiences are like. What do men, you know, experience when it comes to like a standard of beauty? What is it like going for the first time to the barbershop? So, you know, I watched like the movie Soul. Like they really got deep down and they really gave like a realistic experience of what it's like for a little boy to go for his first haircut, in the conversations and the people. So that's what I kind of want in this book. I think I'm with this book too, because I already did the resource guide thing. I really want to challenge myself to make it a much longer story, because the story in I Love My Curls is very short, because the purpose wasn't really the story. It was just something to have representation, you know, a little girl that's not being saved by some prince, you know, she's feeling herself, she's powerful, to go along with it. But this book, I want to expand, because even in the beauty conversations, we don't really talk about dudes. We don't. They get left out of the conversation. So this one, I want to be. I want to rep the fellas. I want to give them a really good story. So that is what I have coming up. But like I said, the expansive resource guide would be the first one, and then I've decided to do turn the I Love My Curls project into a series. I think that would be the best direction to go with it. So, and I listen to people. So if people got ideas, you know, hit me up, you know, and let me know, because that when you're writing, you know, you're a voice for the people. So I always appreciate, you know, ideas and where to go and what to give people what they want, you know. So it's really a thing that I welcome.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know, you can definitely tell that you're passionate about it. And
Yeah.
we see that your babies have inspired you for this book, the amazing book, you know, I Love My Curls. Um, and it just you're also a natural health coach. So
Mhm.
what inspired that? Because it all ties in together. And I know you're very driven by it and we appreciate it. What caused you to, you know, become a coach?
Well, I became a natural hair coach because writing this book, I think it was God's way of forcing me to use my voice. I fought it for so long, but you know, the universe will keep getting on that behind until you listen. And so I think the book was the catalyst to start all of this. So becoming a natural hair coach evolved out of this book, because I got so many questions about hair and what products to use. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I spoke about, you know, mixed race families where, you know, your child's hair is totally different than yours, you know. So I got all these questions and I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? So I started a hair community, and then I developed coursework, and I developed a coaching program around all of this, you know, hair stuff. And basically, what I do is just give that one-on-one support to people that are on their natural hair journey. You know, ways to keep their hair healthy. If you're struggling with having confidence wearing your natural hair, let's examine why, because it's, I call it, that's why I call it hair esteem. It's loving your hair, and being able to embrace it and feel comfortable with it, and understanding the reasons why we don't. And like anything, if you ever been on anybody's couch, a lot of that stuff we learn when we're kids, and we just, it's just hard, and we have to learn how to navigate the world, and change is hard for people sometimes. But that is exactly with, what a hair coach does. That's what I do. But I also used it too, because I know for me growing up, with a more coarse type of hair, it wasn't always pleasant. I remember pressing combs on Sunday mornings before church. Not nice. I don't want to ever see a pressing comb in my life. Now we have, like, flat irons and stuff. But back in the day, your mama put that hot comb on that stove, burnt your neck, everything, and everything, using the hair grease. So it wasn't such a positive experience. And I used to hate to get my hair done. And my mother was in a natural hair, enthusiast. So she would just rip through your hair. Now, educating myself, I know you start from the tip of the hair and you move yourself. But back in the day, mom took that wide tooth comb, and she made it do what it did. Your hair will look beautiful in cornrows and puffs, but it just hurt. It was excruciating. I'd rather just keep your hands out my head. And so having that negative relationship with getting my hair done, I remember that. So that's one of the reasons why I also create a space where parents can come in, and I'll bring in experts and stylists to teach you how to do simple, basic hairstyles. What do you need to look out for? Like, I have a 6-year-old. She just, maybe 2 months ago, went to the salon for the first time. You couldn't tell her nothing. You couldn't tell her nothing. She likes the LOL doll, so that is all she wanted. What she did was get 2 like little Afro buns or space buns, and she sprayed it with some red. She told her I wanted color. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like 5. So she's like, I'll just spray a little bit of color, but that's what she wanted. I'm like, okay, because she's a creative. I know she's going to be creative. My oldest daughter's a creative, so she wanted a little pop of color so she can, look like the LOL doll. So, it's just to make that experience less traumatic, and make it a beautiful thing. And you're learning together, of how to properly care, maintain, get a basic regime that helps your hair thrive. So that's what the coaching does. It's really simple and really practical information, because I've never gone to hair school, but look, I'm a mom 20 plus years. I know some things, but things that I don't know, that's when I bring in the experts who have a license, and the things who can show you how to do this, show you how to do that, or give you, the expert, a little bit more complicated things. They can help you learn and give their advice there.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mentioned to you, I have 3 little boys, and they're Afro Latinos. So even though I have straight hair, sometimes it's wavy. It's not always straight like this unless I iron it. They have wavy hair. They have curls. It's loose curls, but they have curls nonetheless. So I have learned lineups, fades. Don't cut too much at the top, because then you can, like, I could cut here and that's it, but their hair stretches out. It's like a little coil. And then, in high school, at 16, I was out on my own at 16, and I paid my homegirl's mom $60 every 2 weeks to sleep on her sofa, so I could still go to that school district. And she started her own hair business at 16 from her house. I saw a lot of things. So when you talk about that hot comb on stuff,
yeah, it ain't pretty.
Yeah, she'd be like, girl, and I'll see it. She learned how to do my texture hair using my crown. But yeah, I've seen some things. I'm like, you really have to understand that even when I was dyeing my hair, it's a different texture. I was in a place before I healed where I wasn't fully happy with my hair. And I was trying to alter the way I looked exteriorly, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I could feel internally a little better. And I'm not saying that's everybody's case, but for the most part, when you're changing up who you really are and what you already naturally have, it's because you don't like something. And sometimes
Exactly.
it's rooted from youth. So that's why your book is important. It hits our children at youth.
Mm-hmm.
Our age, y'all little ones listening, when you get our age, you're able to walk around knowing who you are and be proud of it. For example, your daughter, nobody better tell nothing because her auntie come all the way from Atlanta and,
She gonna rush. She gonna pull
and big sister get through.
out.
Auntie finna roll up. But
Right. And it's just amazing to see the difference. And just recently, they had like a whole week in where they had to dress up all these different themes. And one day they had to dress up like their favorite teacher or whatever. And they've been virtually, they're just now going back to hybrid learning where they go a couple days in school and a couple days at home. But anyway, one of her teachers had said, oh, I don't know who I'm going to dress up with. Dress up like tomorrow, because the teachers are dressing up like the kids. And she said to my daughter, because she had like little puffs, and she's like, oh, I would love to. She called her puffs a poof. So my daughter was like, well, that's okay because you have a different texture of hair, but this isn't called a puff. It's called it's not called a poof. It's called a like a puff. And I'm like, and I turned around and I looked at my husband, because I wasn't expecting her to say it like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that she was being like she didn't say it like, aggressively or in a smart alecky way, but she was really like, okay, well, I understand. Like, I'm not offended that you can't do your hair because it's impossible. Your hair can't do what my hair does, and then she, told her what it was called. So she educated her about like, oh, I said, that was like a little slight read there. but I love it though, because I would have never been able to do that at that age. I would have been first scared. Second, my mama was straightening my hair. So, it's just a whole different, experience that she feels that confident. And already she knows what styles are called and she's always, ready to educate. So I'm like, go ahead, little girl. So yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I just want to applaud you, Mom. You're doing a great job. Dad too, but Mom, you're doing a great job, sis.
Thanks.
It goes back to how we're teaching our children. So our children will only be as confident as we pour into them, So as long as they know, she knows her hairstyles, she knows what is called and what is not called. Don't try it. And
right.
she knows herself enough to respectfully let you know, even though this is my thing, I understand it might not be yours, and it's okay. But my thing, you better not knock it. This is what it is.
I hear you.
Right here.
I know it, sis. Yeah, we here. We see each other.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's factual. That's very accurate.
Facts.
FAX.
I am screaming. Yes.
But
right.
The beautiful thing is, not just when parents start realizing that they have to heal and learn new things to better themselves, and then they pour it into the children. But when the family also is engaged, I give all props to my mom, my brothers, and people in my corner that are close to me, because it's not easy. I've done it by myself, 3 jobs, 3 children, and I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And it goes to show us how as people we evolve, and whatever we're set to do, we can do. So why not use that energy to pour into our little ones?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They're people too. But you're a young lady that is very talented, is very wise, and we all live life similarly. We're born, we live life, and we die, and in between those 3 things, we have children, we move, we wake up every morning, eat breakfast, like you name it. But all on different paths. We have just different paths. So coming from where you come from on your path, what do you think would make this world a better place?
I think I want to take this perspective. For the past year, we've been in this pandemic. And I think it's made a lot of people do a lot of self-examination. people have been challenged to the limit to do so many things that maybe they felt they weren't capable of. We were challenged. Our mortality was challenged. Our mental health was challenged. Our finances were challenged. Our consciousness, our social consciousness was challenged. There was a lot of stuff that happened during this pandemic. Being isolated, having to be in a house with folks that you love, but when you find out you ain't got to leave for 10 hours a day and you stuck here with these jokers, listen, let's be real. It ain't always easy, right? So I would say it's taught us to pivot when we had no other recourse. People were losing their jobs. We couldn't go places, and I think it's just allowed us to be a lot more creative in the way that we live our lives. And the one thing that I fear now that we're getting these vaccines and everyone seems like, oh, everything's opening up, it's gonna be, I'm like, it ain't gonna be normal again. Like we still wearing masks, right? We still ain't being in rooms with 20 plus people, right? But we still have to live though. I just challenge people to continue challenging themselves, if that makes sense. Don't get comfortable and complacent again. If you didn't put on the quarantine pounds and got a little fluffy like me, keep on eating right, keep on exercising, because I want to be summertime fine, okay? I want to this summer. I just don't want to have no sense, I want to feel comfortable and I want to get back to me. So that's been my journey since October. I've talked to so many people. They've learned how to cook gourmet meals, or they've tried out something they've never tried before. Get rid of the trash. Stuff that's making you uncomfortable, complicating your life. Get rid of it. Live life to the fullest, because we could be living but not living. That's like being a zombie in The Walking Dead. Who want to be a zombie? They're scary, they're ugly. No, let's not. So I just would motivate people to just continue to grow and challenge yourself, try new things. Don't get complacent, because the one thing that I feel I've learned through this past year is how much stuff I took for granted. Dang, I took a lot of stuff for granted, and you can get so caught up, in life, and things seem good, that when it's taken away from you, like a simple thing like walking around the store without a mask, like I want to breathe, I don't want this mask on my face, but now we got to deal with that. These are things that we take for granted, just like simple air, breathing. So I just continue, don't get complacent, people. Live a little, keep challenging yourself. That's the one thing I would think is going to continue to change the world.
Yes, definitely don't be complacent. My homeboy in South Carolina, him and his wife, they have this clothing line called Comfort Can't Progress. So I him out, because it's true. You can't evolve, you can't move, you can't grow if you're stagnant. Also, shout out Young King Hair Care, because they also have my brother and my sister Cora. She invented a cream for little boys with curls. My children, they have.
Okay.
I went to the beauty supply store, I went to the store, I couldn't find anything for my little boy, so I just made my own. So yeah, shout out to her.
How it happens, see?
Yeah.
So that's how it happens. There's a need, you figure something, a way to solve it, and now you got a whole product.
You got to be able to do that, like you said, without being complacent. You have to see that there has to be a move from your end to cause a change. And you're right, 2020 and just COVID period has shifted things so differently for us than the norm, the actual norm. So when people say you're going back to norm, technically not, because we have been changed a lot. We have been, moved to think differently as well. We actually think and move different too. But like you mentioned, it has helped us not only see ourselves for who we really are, to really get that opportunity to sit down with oneself and the people around us that we're close to, and also filter out the things and the people that don't suit us or fit in our lives anymore. So like you said, we were living, but not living. We were clocking in, clocking out. And I'm telling you this from experience. We're clocking in, clocking out, paying bills on 2-day weekend, sometimes Lord, thank you so much. You gave me another extra weekend day. No.
Right.
So we live on those 2 days, but then go back to working for somebody else, and we're stuck in this lane, and we're living, paying bills, and doing this and doing that, picking up the children and doing that and doing that. But who are we?
Exactly.
Like to do? What have we traveled? Have we experienced the other parts of the world? Because we're so stuck here in this avenue. Who are we?
Yep.
So it was a game changer. It still is.
Yep.
I think that more and more people are actually like, you know what? Like this person doesn't fit in my life, or I don't like eating this. I'm trying to eat healthy, So yeah. So
Absolutely. And I was cracking up because over this weekend I came across this article. If I find, I'll try to find it again. I'll send it to you. But people are actually thinking about starting litigation against jobs that are telling them to come back. They're like, wait a minute, I don't need to come back because we've survived this long for a year, not having to go into the office. It was okay then. Why are you telling me that we can't continue to work from home? Because people, like you said, people are living. They ain't trying to, get back into that routine, and knowing now that that traditionalist mindset where we gotta, get up, go to work. No, no, we're programmed to think that's how it has to be. Now, the reality and the fact is that we know we can still perform our jobs from home if that's what you want to do, or enter into, like we're doing, manning our own businesses. It's possible. Anything's possible, and we have choices. But I laugh because I'm like, well, maybe this theory I have, people are going to continue to challenge themselves, because before that, you would have never heard people, especially people who have a job that they go to every day. You don't want to rock the boat because you got bills to pay. Everyone's on the same wavelength. Like, people are like, life is too short. When your mentality is challenged, people are like, nope, baby, I'm at home.
yeah. And I love how your confidence just pours into your children and into everything else around you and into your work. Because that's what it's about,
Yeah,
you get a piece of that confidence, and we're like, yeah, like if she's confident, I could be confident too.
yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, you're multi-talented. Like I'm learning from you. Like, we're the same age, you know. What pieces of advice do you have for all of us? And naturally, I would say young, successful entrepreneurs, we're all successful in what we do because we're refining it. And entrepreneurship doesn't have an age, size, look. So everybody listening right now, I'm listening to, what pieces of advice do you have for all of us?
I would say, get out of your own way. We usually we define ourselves by something. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Before I wrote this book, I was working in HR. It was just another dead end job that I wasn't happy with. And I had all these dreams and aspirations and talents that I was too scared to explore. And I was getting in my own way by saying, I'm just a mom, I'm just a wife. I don't know if anyone will like it. It's too hard. All these things, all this negative self talk. But, you have to kind of change your mindset. And just like you said, take that leap, because you don't want to be that person to say, dang, I wonder if I would have done this, what would have happened? If I hadn't done it, I wouldn't have been Amazon's bestseller. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't be sitting on your show, House of Ramirez, sharing my journey and my story, meeting a wonderful sister like yourself, having this great conversation. I wouldn't have had people come to me and say that, their natural hair journey has changed, or the self-confidence that they're able to instill in their children about their natural hair. Now they've decided to take the wigs off, or to stop straightening their hair and embrace their hair a lot more, and embark on this journey together. You never know who that person is who is waiting for you to share your talents with the world. And I would say, stay out of your way. Like, stop being scared. Like, this time now more than ever, like, you better big yourself up and get out here in these streets and get your hustle on, start your business, write your book, start your podcast, whatever it is that you've been yearning to do, just do it. Stop, thinking that you're not good enough, or because someone said, oh, you're not going to be successful. You need to go and get yourself a good job. Like that's not everybody's journey. You know what I'm saying? So, being a creative, I'm always out the box anyway. It just comes naturally for me. But that negative self-talk stuff though, oh yes, it will keep you stuck and it will keep you broke. And I would just encourage people to just try new things. And that goes right back to earlier we were talking about, just challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. We choose to be stuck. We choose to be miserable, and we choose to be broke. That's somewhat. There's other factors that play into that, but a lot of it comes down to choice.
Yeah.
If you choose to shift your mindset, then things change.
Yeah, and that word has surfaced way too much last year and this year because it's our mindset. We tend to hold our own selves back sometimes, not all the times. When we start realizing what we're doing, and that's when change happens.
Exactly.
We can't keep doing the same thing we've been doing for so long, and our parents have been doing, or our grandparents or our great grandparents been doing, because we're not going to get different results.
Exactly.
We need a different mindset to get different results.
There you go.
Have the time and the platform for it. So bet on yourself, be confident. And if you need a little boost of confidence, go ahead and buy I Love My Curls book. It's going to help you, whether you got curls or not. It's going to boost your confidence up. Okay.
Exactly. And if you guys are interested in purchasing the book, you can get it wherever books are sold. It is on Amazon.com. If you do come to my website, which is ilovemycurlsbook.com, I will give you a personalized message, and sign it. So, I got some wonderful things on there, some merch to match the book, curl boxes. So, there's a lot of good things that I kind of expanded on outside of the book, but or just hit me up on social media. I keep it simple. I Love My Curls book. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yes. So y'all know what's up. Y'all got to follow our sister. She has it going on, and she has new projects too. Shout out for you, to you and your whole brand. I know it's a one-woman show. Same here, House of Ramirez. Operating just on I, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of love, purpose driven thoughts constantly. Well, I do this. Well, and then you're just constantly talking back and forth with yourself, like, how can I make you don't take no for an answer? Something's like, oh, it's not working right now. All right, a way around it. It's just a creative thought process, just being so I'm in your corner. I'm here to help however I can. You have a sister down in Atlanta. So yeah, we have to stick together. That's the only way we're really going to get far. I heard if you want to go somewhere, if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go far, you go with others. So yeah, the only way we're going to sustain and make sure that we keep that up, the success within all of us in this day and time, is if we stick together. So yeah.
Same here. It's been a pleasure, being on your, on your platform, your format. It's been great, meeting you, and same here, support whatever I can do. Let me know. And let's stay connected. Like, this was dope. This was a dope conversation.
But you know how I get down all the time. I want to hear a shout out. I'm big on shout outs because I always give flowers when it's due, put the spotlight on people that are in my corner that constantly help. Shout out my family. But I love what you're doing, what it is that you're doing. But now I'm going to give you the platform so you could go ahead and get that spotlight and put it in your corner and shed light on people that have supported you, that have encouraged you, that have backed you up to help you to get to where you're at right now. So who's your shout out?
I'm going to give, first one got to go to God. Without him, nothing is possible. My husband, without him being supportive and dealing with my crazy shit in becoming an entrepreneur and my sometimes manic, personality, dealing with it and adapting. I could not do this. My children for always being a support and understanding that mommy needs mommy time to do this thing and build and scale her business and get this bag. To my mentee, Stephanie McKenzie, she is a big part in helping me change my mindset and pulling out all of my strengths and ridding myself of sometimes that self-doubt, because I don't care how many successes you have, it's always there. You need somebody to pour into you. And my mama, whoop, whoop, hey, she'd have a nasty night with my daddy, I would not be here.
Yo!
And on top of that, she's always just pouring into me. Thank you, Mom, for bringing me life, and always, being that person I can go to talk about anything, like anything. And, and she, was a single mom, and I think she says a lot, if something happened to me tomorrow, I'm an identical twin. I would be okay knowing I gotta go and leave you guys here, because I know you guys still have a lot more to do, but you're good. I know I did my job. So, and that's all thanks to her, and because I know being a single mom, it was not hard, not easy, so that would be the people that I want to spotlight.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody in your corner. I have a very soft spot for my mom too. She puts up with me too, my kids too, so I definitely feel that. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're constantly thinking, you're like, no, and you try to be cool, and you're into your groove of things, you're aligned. But when you're in that working mode, it's like,
yeah.
And that is rude, but at the time, your family sees your greatness and the purpose. Yeah. So then it's like, they're like, yeah, let's just give her a few seconds, a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of patience from our family and loved ones to just be there for us. So everybody in your corner, kudos to everybody in my corner too. Shit, they put up with so much. And if my mom wouldn't have had a nasty night with my daddy, I wouldn't be here. So thank you.
It's facts. We grow.
Sis, I appreciate you so much. This will not be the last time that you will be on my show. When you hook up with the other book, as well as all the tools that you have for us to just, be assertive and have that confidence to keep being great. I'm bringing you back on. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I had an awesome time. It doesn't even feel like an interview. I feel like just I'm talking to, like my homie. So yeah, this was really fun. Thank you for having me on. I had a really great time, and thank you for allowing me to, once again, share, what I'm doing on your platform.
Thank you. Well, until next time.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.